السلام عليكم. Active and passive voice المبني للمعلوم والمبني للمجهول. First, we're going to revise active and passive with the present simple and the past simple. Then, we're going to have it with the present continuous. Now, let's have the examples. Number 1. Cats eat meat. Cats here is the subject, الفاعل. Eat is the verb and meat is the object. Now this sentence begins with the subject. بدأت بالفاعل, so it's active. Active sentences begin with the subject, then the verb, then the object. When the subject is important, we have active sentences. Now when we change from active into passive, we can say like this: meat is eaten by cats. So here we begin with the object. بدأنا بالمفعول. And then we look at the verb. The verb is present simple في زمن المضارع البسيط. What helps the present simple is am or are. Meat here is singular, مفرد, فبالتالي نستخدم is. And then we have the past participle from eat, which is eaten. إذن نستخدم المفعول ومن ثم is أو am أو are ثم التصريف الثالث للفعل. لو كان الفاعل مهم نستخدم by and the subject. by cats. Now this sentence is passive because it begins with the object, then the verb, then the subject. Now let's have another example. Mom prepared the food. Mom here is the subject, prepared is the verb, and the food is the object. Now we change into passive. The food was prepared by mom. We begin here with the object and then look at the verb. It's past simple, so we use was or were. Here the food is singular, so we use was. Then we use the past participle, التصريف الثالث للفعل. Now, if the subject is important, we can use it at the sentence, and if it is not important or if it is known, لو كان معروف أو كان غير مهم، فبالتالي لا داعي لاستخدام الفاعل. فنقول the food was prepared without saying by mom. So we can say we use the active voice when the subject is the most important part in the sentence. نستخدم صيغة المبني للمعلوم عندما يكون الفاعل هو الجزء الأهم في الجملة. And we use the passive voice when the object is the most important part in the sentence. عندما يكون المفعول هو الجزء الأهم في الجملة نستخدم صيغة المبني للمجهول. I have another type of sentences. Sammy is doing a new project. Sammy here is the subject, is doing is the verb, a new project is the object. This sentence begins with the subject, بدأت بالفاعل, so it's active. Now we're going to change it from active into passive. Remember here that we have present continuous sentence. جملة في زمن المضارع المستمر. We have is, doing, is or am or are. Now let's change from active into passive. We can say a new project is being done by Sammy. What happens here? We have the same steps. We have the object, a new project. It becomes at the beginning, a new project. Now look at the verb, is doing, it's present continuous tense. What helps the present continuous tense? Is, am, are, plus being. We have here being, be, plus ing, and then we have the past participle from do, which is done. If the subject is important, we can add it in the sentence. So the sentence becomes, a new project is being done by Sammy. This is passive because it begins with the object. بدأت بالمفعول فهي في صيغة المبني للمجهول. Now let's have another example. Mona is writing a story. Mona is the subject, is writing is the verb, a story is the object. It becomes a story is being written by Mona. هنا we begin with the object. بدأنا بالمفعول. Then we use is. or am or are. Then we have being and the past participle. Is writing is the verb. Isn't to form a present continuous passive, we begin with the object plus is or am or are plus being plus the past participle. Now we're going to compare between active and passive. Let's have the first sentence. Reem opens the door. This is present simple sentence. We have the verb open. It becomes the door is opened by Reem. We begin with the object, then we have is or am or are plus the past participle. Another sentence. Reem opened the sentence. Reem opened the door. It becomes past simple. أصبحت في زمن الماضي. In the first we have opens, and in the second sentence we have opened. So it becomes the door was opened by Reem. And then another sentence. Reem is opening. Opening here is opening, present continuous. So it becomes like this. The door is being opened. Okay, so with the active sentences, we have the subject, then the verb, then the object. And with the passive sentences, we have the object, then the verb, and then the subject. Now let's read the examples in your book, Unit 10, Period 3. Number 1. They are teaching me all this at school. Here this sentence begins with the subject, so it's active. Now we're going to change it into passive, so it becomes I'm being taught all this at school. Now remember that taught is the past participle from teach. Number 3, someone is doing something, it becomes something is being done. 3, people are catching the adult fish. The adult fish are being caught. Here, caught, the past participle of catch. Adults are not producing young ones. It becomes young ones are not being produced. Now, look at the negative form. We use are not being produced. As you see, these examples begin with the subject, and here the examples begin with the objects. Now let's look at the examples again and take it through the best way to complete the statement. Number 1, examples 1, 3, 5, and 7 are all in the present continuous, active or passive. Of course, they are all in the present continuous active because they all begin with the subject. Number 2, examples 2, 4, 6, and 8 are in the present continuous passive because they all begin with the object. Number 3, we form the present continuous passive from am, is, are plus being plus the past participle. And number 4, we form negatives from is, am, or are plus not plus being plus the past participle. Now let's do exercise 2. Describe the activities in the present continuous passive. Look at this picture. Number 1, people are doing several things at the same time. Here this sentence begins with the subject, so it's active. We're going to change into passive. People is the subject, are doing is the verb. We have here present continuous. Several things is the object. إذن هنبدأ ب object several things. Several things plural جمع فهنستخدم are هنضيف being, and then the past participle التصريف الثالث من do. Then the sentence becomes several things are being done at the same time. Number 2, some people are taking fish off the boat. It becomes Fish is being taken off the boat. 3. Other people are putting fish in boxes. Fish is being put in boxes. Someone is checking the weight of the boxes of fish. It becomes the weight of the boxes of fish is being checked. 5. Someone else is picking up the fish and he's carrying the boxes to the fish market. The fish is being picked up and the boxes are being carried to the fish market. Number 6. A man is selling the fish and people from shops and restaurants are buying them. It becomes the fish is being sold and it is being bought by people from the shops and restaurants. Now exercise 3. Describe real activities. سوف نصف الآن نشاطات حقيقية. Imagine that it is the start day at your local market. Say what is being done. الآن لدينا مجموعة من الأفعال سوف نستخدمها لبناء جملة في صيغة المبني للمجهول. نتخيل معا أننا في سوق محلي في بداية اليوم. So I'm going to write my own sentences. Number 1. Large boxes are being carried. Here I use the verb carry. The shops are being opened. I use here open. New goods are being counted. Here I use. Now it's your turn to use other verbs and make passive sentences like this. Goodbye. See you, Anan.